All right, Schlockmeister fans, a re-review from my previous channel. This one's called Final Exam Blu-ray. Let's check it out. Our movie starts with a couple making out in a car.
I love you.
And we see there's a stalker outside, who then attacks them. At a nearby college.
Hi, Rabbit.
I know. What happened at March College? Another football recruiting scandal?
No, better. A mass murderer. 2 kids were snuffed while parking at the lake.
Oh, there's nobody left on campus.
This is Lisa. She's having an affair with her college professor.
No. But I do.
Well, the next thing you know, some terrorists attack. But guess what? It was just a diversion for this guy who decides to grade his own exam and bury it under the other already graded exams.
Yeah?
Hazing the new pledge.
Lester, you've been chosen pledge. It's good, isn't it? Is it good? It's excellent. Look, I want you to break into Dr. Mayhern's office and steal tomorrow's test for me. You gotta be kidding me, right? No.
Well, a group of masked perpetrators simulated a terrorist-style raid in which several co-conspirators pretended injury or death.
Local cop is not
My
happy.
fault.
Apparently they chalk it up to a college prank and let it go.
When I get so old and honored I can't hit nothing except with a scattergun, I give you a call.
Lisa likes to use her good looks.
Hi. Excuse me. Could one of you give me a hand?
I'd do it too. And there's somebody stalking the campus. Did you see something, Courtney? Maybe not. Well, Gary the Pledge does in fact break into that professor's office, steal that exam.
Might be gamma material after all.
If he makes it through the night.
Hey, I did it. Now let me go. I gotta study too, you know.
But they're not done hazing him yet. This is called getting treed.
So much the better.
Meanwhile, Mark wants Wildman to break into the coach's office to steal some pills.
Yeah, I got a key to the weight room. That's just to work out, though. I can't get into the pills unless I break the door down.
That you want
The groundskeeper refuses to help out. He respects the hazing.
You can have yours on the rock.
Meanwhile, somebody untied him. He assumed it was his girlfriend, but it wasn't. It was our mysterious killer. Oh, we don't see exactly what happens to his girlfriend. She's next. Wildman retrieves the pills. And since he's in the coach's office anyway, might as well break a trophy. But he's not alone. The fight leads into the weight room, where our killer gets the upper hand. Meanwhile, Radish expresses his love to Courtney.
You have a pretty face, too. Prettier than Lisa. Really.
Mark goes in search of Wildman and pills. Finds Wildman. He doesn't get very far after that. Radish then finds Mark's body.
There's a guy here who is dead.
Of course, they don't believe him because of the earlier prank.
All be in danger. Fine.
He goes to check on Courtney. A nice nude scene here that I can't show you, but Lisa decides to strip for when her professor comes, and she's going to model for him. Courtney comes back from getting a Pepsi and finds Radish's body.
Radish.
Lisa thinks the professor has shown up, but nope. Having discovered our unknown killer, the chase is on. She climbs up into the bell tower, which looks extremely unsafe.
I'm up here! There's a killer up here!
And that's the coach.
Hang your head on my wall.
Well, our dude trips, and next thing you know, he's hanging. And the next thing you know, he's falling. In spite of that great distance, he's still alive. But not for long. Dead killer, relaxed Courtney. End of film. All right, let's talk about Final Exam. This is a movie that I had on a beta tape. I copied it in April of 1986. I remember going to Century Food Store, grocery store, renting The Visitor, Final Exam, and a movie called Massive Retaliation. The other two movies I've actually reviewed on my previous channel. I haven't gotten back to them yet on this one, but I will soon. Anyway, Final Exam. It's a 1981 horror movie. It takes place on a college campus where there's a killer. Pretty simple plot, really. The killer is just going around killing people. Now, what sets this movie apart from others is that the killer, I don't know what his motivation is in terms of, we don't even know who he is. I remember the first time seeing this, and we kind of get a glimpse of the killer finally, and I'm looking at his face, I'm like, who is that? Is that the coach? Is that who the hell is it? And the answer is, nobody knows. Nobody knows who this guy is or why he's butchering up this college campus. There's just no rhyme or reason to it. He's just doing it. So anyway, he goes around killing certain people. There's a girl named Courtney, her friend named Radish, the football players Mark and Wildman. All of them, with the exception of Courtney, end up dying. Courtney's roommate Lisa, who's having an affair with one of the professors, she's the super cute one. She's the one who has a nude scene in this movie. She goes to meet her professor late at night, and she ends up getting killed by the killer there too. Ultimately, there's a final chase after Radish dies. The killer is chasing Courtney through the campus. It's like midterms, and most people have gone home. And surprisingly, literally nobody is around the night that the killer is chasing Courtney. And they end up going up into this like bell tower. Or I think it's some sort of bell. It had like 6 stories on it. It was huge. The killer, of course, stalks her very slowly, walks up the stairs as well. She screams out the window to the coach, who happens to be coming by now. For whatever reason, the coach is driving on campus at night with a bow and arrow. So he takes his bow and arrow and goes into the bell tower and sees the confrontation and threatens the guy. He's like, hey, you better not charge that girl or I'm going to get you. And then he shoots the arrow at the guy, and the guy catches it. Now, apparently, according to what I read, that actually really happened. The actor who played the killer actually could do that in real life, so they decided to put that in the script, which is kind of cool. So he really did catch that arrow that was tossed. I don't know, that seems kind of scary to me, but whatever, right? And then he used the arrow to kill the coach. Well, then he goes back after the girl. The two of them struggle a little bit, and he ends up hanging by the rafters, and then she clubs him with a 2x4, and eventually he follows these 6 stories. Somehow, despite that lofty fall, he was still alive on the ground when Courtney walked past him, and then she grabbed his knife and stabbed the shit out of him, killing him, and that was the end of our movie. So anyway, that is Final Exam. Some may pass the test, God help the rest. So again, I saw this on cable probably back in 1982, 83, something like that. And like I said, I rented it in 1986. I've watched it a few times over the years. Again, just a typical 80s slasher film, and I like typical 80s slasher films, so I don't mind this one at all. I do find it strange, though, that I have no idea who that killer is or why he's doing this. But whatever, right? Maybe 20 years later, or I guess 40 years later now, somebody will remember what happened 40 years ago, and that will be the setting of a new movie. Final Exam 2? Why not? Anyway, that is it. The good folks at Scream Factory put this Blu-ray out, and there's a lot of cool extras on here. There's audio commentary with the guy who played Radish, the girl who played Courtney, which is, by the way, is the only movie she ever did, and the actress who played Gary the Pledge's girlfriend. We saw her get killed too, and there's some interviews with the three of them as well. So, but anyway, and the trailer, of course. That is it. So I recommend getting this movie if you like 80s slashers. Click the link on Amazon down below, assuming there is a link to Amazon down below. Otherwise, go to Scream Factory and get this. It's a cool movie. Check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments. Final Exam. Watch it. Bye.